A very good day to everyone. My name is Prem Maheshwaran. I'm a ServiceDesk Plus product expert and Nightism evangelist. So I welcome you all to this advanced Masterclass series, Masterclass Plus, and it's the second session this time. We're going to talk about how you can build a high velocity incident response tool chain. The agenda for the discussion today is to create combinations of tools, to create tool chains for different scenarios so that you can reduce the mean time to detect issues and also reduce the mean time to resolve the issues. So today we are going to talk about four scenarios. So I would like to classify them as operations, security operations, DevOps, and data-driven operations. These are the four situations that we are going to take a look into, and we are going to see few products that can work in conjunction with ServiceDesk Plus, that can work like hand in glove with ServiceDesk Plus to reduce the mean time to detect issues. All right. So for this demonstration, I'm using ManageEngine tools, but it's not limited only to ManageEngine products. So ServiceDesk Plus has its API, REST API exposed, with which you can create integrations with any tool if you already have solutions in place. So this tool, this session is to encourage you all to implement transactional integration between the products so that you can get contextual data to reduce the mean time to detect and also to resolve issues. So that's the goal for the presentation today, the discussion today. So with that in mind, let's go into the Presso and explore the various options. So before we go into the discussion, some of the rules that I would like to talk to you about. So all attendees. So there is a dedicated Q&A time at the end of the session. Use the Q&A option in the left side toolbar to ask your questions. So you can feel free to ask your questions in the left side toolbar, and at the end of the session, we'll try to answer your questions as much as we can. This session is recorded, so you'll get the recording of this masterclass in a couple of days. So you can always shoot your emails, the feedback and questions to hello@servicedeskplus.com. Okay, let's get into the first situation. Easy Portal goes down. So an organization application, which is a web application, all right, so it goes down. So a simple availability issue. So conventionally, when you don't have a monitoring solution in place, what happens is that users will experience the outage and then they'll report it to our service desk. All right, so that is going to be very reactive. So users will identify the issue first, which is kind of embarrassing for the IT team, right? So they will report it to us and we react to that outage. So that will cost a huge amount of time. All right. So the second situation is you already have a monitoring solution and you also have the service desk product, but both the applications are working in silos, meaning you have a different administrator for the monitoring application and you have a different set of stakeholders for the IT service desk. Even in such case, there'll be a delay, because if the administrator, the applications team is not available, or they are not keeping a keen eye on the availability of the application, then there's going to be some delay with reporting that issue into service desk. So once again, it is going to cause a delay. All right. So that is where I'm going to show you how a monitoring solution, that too, it's not a simple monitoring solution. It's going to be a full stack monitoring solution, and we're going to see how it can provide us maximum information about the outage of an application. And with that insight, it'll be easy for your technicians to resolve the issue very quickly. All right. So in this situation, Easy Portal, it runs on a Docker container. All right. So now we have a very diverse infrastructure to support. We have a hybrid setup in most of the organizations. So we have the conventional VMs and monolithic servers, and also we have got containers which are hosting some of our applications, and few of the applications are hosted online, like the cloud model. Right. So we have to monitor all these services at once. And if it goes down, and it's the responsibility of the IT team. So we have to get that information into service desk, and we have to analyze and figure out what went wrong. So now the problem becomes a little more challenging than it used to be before. So in order to solve this particular situation, I'm going to show you a combination of ServiceDesk Plus and Applications Manager integration. Right. Once again, so for this demo, I'm using Applications Manager, but if you already have a similar tool in place, all I do is encourage you to integrate it with ServiceDesk Plus. Okay, so with which you can build a powerful ops tool chain with Applications Manager and ServiceDesk Plus for close quarter monitoring and resolving application failures with maximum information in ServiceDesk Plus. All right, so let us see it in action. So I'm going to switch screens and I'm going to take you into Applications Manager. Right, so this is the Applications Manager login page. I'm going to log into it. So first, I'm going to explain you a little bit about this product and what it does. So conventionally, if you want to monitor an application, so you either monitor the URL's availability, or you monitor the server's health or the network health, right? So this is the maximum we used to do. But with a product like this, you get fine-grained monitors, meaning an application has multiple layers, right? So we call it the stacks of an application. So the first layer is the front end, which is a web server. Then you have got an application engine. It might be a JBoss engine. And in the back end, you have Postgre or MS SQL database. And then you have the server and the network. And, a lot of layers are added for this application to perform efficiently, right? So each and every layer can be added as a monitor in Applications Manager. So that is the beauty of a tool like this. So you can monitor each and every component of an application. So for example, if you'd like to monitor the application server, so Java or JBoss can be created as a monitor and you can monitor it individually. Right. Likewise, a database server. So these are all the supported database. If you have got MySQL or MS SQL in the backend, you can create a monitor for the application and it will keep an eye on the backend separately. So the web server can be monitored and the URL can be monitored for availability. All right. So if it is completely hosted in a virtual environment like Docker or Hyper-V, it can be monitored as well. So when an application fails, it might be due to multiple reasons. It might be a transactional block in the database, which might, cause an outage of an entire application. So conventionally, we need to initiate an analysis one by one, and we have to figure out what went wrong. So we have to check all the layers manually. But with a product like this, with a solution like this, you'll be able to get insights. Like you will know that the database has frozen, and that is what has caused the application to go down. So one service failure will trigger multiple alerts to ServiceDesk Plus. All right. So if it is related to the network, we'll get network-related notification. If it's related to uh, the front end, if it is frozen, so you'll get the monitors, the alerts related to the web server. So that is the advantage of performing a full stack monitoring with a solution like this. For example, in our case, I would like to monitor a URL which runs on a Docker container. I have created a monitor here. All right. So Easy Portal is my URL. So let's get inside this monitor and see what it provides, what kind of information it provides us. All right, so I can see that it's hosted in localhost 2.html. That's the page that I would like to monitor. Health is clear, no critical alarms at present. So it shows the total availability of my application all the time. All right, so the response times, and these are the information that I get by monitoring the URL. All right. Okay, so let me first show you how you can integrate Applications Manager with ServiceDesk Plus. So since it's a ManageEngine solution, so integration is available out of the box. So first, let me show you the admin page, add-on settings. All right, so here is where you can see it has got integrated with Help Desk, the ServiceDesk Plus application, as well as Op Manager. All right, so I'll edit the configuration and I'll show you what we have done to perform the integration in the first place. So all I have to do is choose what kind of ServiceDesk Plus I have, right? So if it's an on-premises one, I can choose ServiceDesk Plus on-premises, all right? And then provide the server name and the port number and the REST API key. So I believe you know how to generate the REST API key. Anyways, I'll show you quickly. To create the REST API key, you need to log in as a technician, go to the profile, and then click on Generate API Key. All right, so here you can click to create the API key and also choose the expiry. So by default, we'll go with never expires. So that way this API key can be used in application integrations. All right. But if you have a strict policy, then you can also choose to expire the API key after a certain point in time. All right. So now copy the API key and then provide it over in the applications manager. Okay. So my application runs on HTTPS. That's it. So once I provide this information, I can click on test connection and save the configuration. Right. So by clicking on OK, I agree to log the alerts as tickets in ServiceDesk Plus. All right. So it's successfully saved. So this is the first step to create the integration. So if you're using a non-ManageEngine monitoring solution, even then you can utilize the APIs to create a connection between ServiceDesk Plus and the monitoring solution. So you can always get in touch with our technical support. So we'll be glad to assist you with giving you information about the integration, right? So once the integration is established, the next step is to add monitors. So under monitors, so you can see we have got these many types of monitors that can be created in Applications Manager. So our interest is monitoring a URL, right? So here I can go to add a new monitor, choose what kind of monitor I want to create, right? So for example, if I want to monitor my database, then I can choose MS SQL or MySQL and then create a monitor. Here, let me show you how to create a small HTTP URL monitor. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to do localhost 8800, which is a different product, and we'll configure it here. Okay, so this is going to be a critical application, so I'm going to keep the polling interval as 1 minute. And when I create a monitor, I also have more configurations, the HTTP configuration. So if I want to pass any parameter and check the output and validate it, I can also do that. All right, so I can provide the basic credentials, or I can pick the credentials from the repository, credential repository as well. I can maintain a credential repository for all the applications. All right, so once that is done, I can add the URL monitor. Okay, so the monitor has been added successfully. Now let's go back to monitors. Take a look at the new monitor that I have added. So as you can see here, the count has increased. Now we are monitoring 2 URLs. Okay, one is Data Security Plus, another one is Easy Portal, the primary application that I wanted to monitor, right? Now, if Data Security Plus goes unavailable, if it is not able to reach, then I would like to get notified. I would like to be triggered with an alarm in ServiceDesk Plus. So that is where you go to create a new alarm, configure alarms. All right. So here I can click on health alarms, configure health, configure actions and attribute level. Okay. So if the health is critical, invoke this action. So Easy Portal Notify, which is a template to trigger notification into ServiceDesk Plus. All right, so I created it primarily for the Easy Portal URL monitor. I can even create new actions. So I can click on actions, all right, choose log a ticket. I can provide the ticket name here as data security. Choose the incident template, application crashes frequently, set the variables. So this alarm will contain a lot of information like the host name. All right, so application hangs frequently, and the host name, I can provide the description like the port number or the monitor name, all that can be added to the notification. Okay, so once the action is created, configured, now I can add it into my templates list and then associate it with the health monitor. So that is where you configure the health. All right, and finally I can save this configuration. So that way, whenever the health is critical, now ServiceDesk Plus will receive notifications. Right, so I can create monitors for different types of application, the full stack of the application, the front end, the engine, the back end, and all the aspects of it can be monitored individually in a fine-grained manner. And whenever an application failure happens, I will get first-hand information about what went wrong. So this kind of information, when given to the IT service desk engineers, it'll accelerate the process of resolution. What exactly went wrong? We'll have pinpointed information about the failure. So we don't have to waste our time doing research on what went wrong or probing on trying to isolate the root cause. Instead, we know the root cause, we can fix it, and then resolve the issue. So that will dramatically reduce the mean time to taken to identify as well as the mean time taken to resolve the issue. So that's the goal and the idea that I wanted to share with you using an integration which has fine-grained monitors like this. So let me take you into ServiceDesk Plus. I'll show you a few alerts that got triggered from, yeah. So this one got triggered right now, right? Just now it has got triggered. It says EC portal is down. Okay, so it's because the URL has been taken down. Right. So once that happens, it automatically provides information here, so in the form of a ticket. Now the technician with this information can check and resolve the issue. So I can populate more data into the description. I can give maximum information from the alert into the incident. Right. So the one more beautiful thing about the integration with Applications Manager is we can also clear the alarm, meaning once the application comes back alive, automatically it will clear the incident. It will clear the alarm as well as it will resolve the incident. It can also be configured to do that. So that way, automatically, incident will be resolved once the alarm is cleared. So this is the first integration that I wanted to talk about. So if you need more information about this kind of integrations, you can always feel free to get in touch with our support. We'll be glad to assist you with it. So this is a plain simple operations case where you monitor an application. So instead of monitoring the whole server, instead of monitoring the network and the infrastructure that supports the application, we are actually monitoring the components of the application. All right, so each and every component is broken down and monitored. So we are giving individual attention to all these components. So that is the advantage of the first case that we discussed today. Now I'm going to talk about the second situation. So incidents happen due to various reasons. Availability incident is one case where that we discussed now. The second case that I want to talk about is a security incident, like a ransomware attack in one of your servers. All right, so most of the times when your users do not know what they are working with, all right, when you have access, when you provide access to many users to critical applications, so probably someone is going to do something wrong and that will cause uh, a security incident. So in our case, a rookie engineer executes an unknown attachment, a malicious attachment in one of the application servers. All right, and when that is done, it is going to encrypt and create a ransomware attack on the server. And I'm going to show you how you can quickly detect. All right, because availability incidents, we can be a little bit, you know, uh, relaxed with it. But when it comes to security incidents, that too a ransomware attack, how fast you detect is crucial, because you can mitigate the incident, mitigate the issue when you identify it quickly. So the best thing that you can do when you have a ransomware attack is to sever the connection with the server and the rest of the world and shut it down. And before shutting it down, it will be best if you can take a snapshot of the current state of the server for forensic analysis, right? So that is what IT team has to do. And to do that, we need to get first-hand information about what is going wrong. Sorry about that. All right, so that can be done with integration with the second product that I'm going to talk about, ManageEngine Data Security Plus. So Data Security Plus and ServiceDesk Plus creates a deadly combo to keep a vigilant eye on the security of your data. So data nowadays is very sensitive, and with the implementation of regulations like GDPR, it becomes much more, sensitive, right? So you need to have a very keen eye of what is happening with the sensitive data, and something goes wrong, It's your responsibility and accountability, right? So that is why we need a solution like this in place to identify file accesses. So whenever someone accesses a file in a critical server, we need to be notified, right? So when a bulk modification of file system happens, we need to be notified immediately and we have to react quick to it. All right, so that can be achieved with the second product combination with ServiceDesk Plus. All right, for this demonstration, I'm going to show you Data Security Plus. That's the second tool. Let me log in into it. So Data Security Plus has multiple components. The first component is file audit. It audits file system, shares, and folders. So whenever there is an activity, it will report it into ServiceDesk Plus. We can configure it to report it into ServiceDesk Plus. Second component is file analysis. So it will keep an eye on the different types of files that you have in a server. All right, and it will categorize and classify the files. And then comes the risk analysis part, where it will identify the files based on its sensitivity. And if something happens, it will calculate the potential risk involved with that files. And then you've got endpoint DLP and cloud protection as well. So all the different data you have in different environments can be monitored and audited, making use of this application. So let me quickly show you the file analysis part first. So I can create a server and then I can analyze the files in it. Okay, so here in this case, if you take a look at here, it has identified different processes that has accessed files. Right? All these are file modifications or operations that got performed in this server. So the server that I wanted to monitor is stp-win-2. That is the server. So which can be configured in the configuration under file audit. So here I can add new servers that has to be managed and monitored. So here I can view reports to take a look at what kind of modifications are happening and who has modified it. All right, so the person who accesses it will also be logged here. So with this kind of information, we'll be able to quickly identify all the file modifications that is happening with sensitive server. And once again, an alert can be configured. So whenever there is a new modification and you'd like to take a look into the alerts, the changes and all that, you can trigger a notification into ServiceDesk Plus once again. Okay, so all you have to do is click on create a new alert profile, provide a name for it, and use a script. So this is not going to be a direct integration. So this is what I wanted to showcase, particularly with this product. So Data Security Plus doesn't offer direct integration with ServiceDesk Plus yet. However, they provide an option to invoke a script. So meaning this is the condition that you'll have with many of the third-party tools. As long as they allow you to execute script or invoke APIs, or if they have a layer, a platform layer where you can write your code and create integrations, we can integrate two products. That's it. All right. So here I can use my create request.py, the Python script which is available in our community. You don't have to write the script. You can just get it from our community and use it here. All you have to do is provide the URL and the technician key, the REST API key. And once that is done, you're good to go. This alert profile will trigger notifications into ServiceDesk Plus. So here we are going to simulate a situation now. We are going to simulate a case of a ransomware attack. I'm going to show you what happens when a ransomware attack is done into your servers and how it will be detected by Data Security Plus and how it will be reported into ServiceDesk Plus. So the configuration for alert has already been done by me. It's already there in Data Security Plus. Now let's go to simulate the situation. All right, so I am monitoring the C drive of this server. All right, under C drive, I have a particular folder which is of high interest because I have got sensitive information there. So now comes the rookie engineer. So we have got a lot of files here. One of the files is a malicious file. All right, it contains a malicious macro which can trigger a ransomware attack if it's executed. But since I'm a rookie engineer, I don't know what exactly it is. I'm going to double click on it. As you see, it has executed a malicious macro, which in turn can encrypt my folder. So as you can see here, all the files are now encrypted. So this is a bulk file system operation. So Data Security Plus is now monitoring this. It will have identified these modifications that has happened due to a Word file. All right, so the ransomware attack is done on this server. All right, now let me go back into the application. Okay, dashboards. Already. So if you observe here, so there is a lot of activity with C:\test. All right, so the folder that I'm monitoring has undergone a lot of file extension changes. All right, so this kind of information should be passed into ServiceDesk Plus as well. Now let's go into ServiceDesk Plus to take a look at the alerts that we have received. See here. So these are all the alerts which got triggered from Data Security Plus. It is possible for us to merge all these alerts and to create it as one incident. We can do that as well, but I wanted to show you the kind of information that you get inside ServiceDesk Plus. You get these much alerts which can be consolidated into one incident and can be logged into ServiceDesk Plus. But that provides you information about how many files got modified. All right, what are the modifications, what kind of changes has happened. So this kind of first-hand information, that too, when it is flooded in your request queue, it will definitely grab the attention of your coordinators and technicians. All right, so they can quickly react to it. So that is the sole purpose of me having these alerts with these many numbers. Okay, these many number of alerts got triggered in one shot into ServiceDesk Plus from Data Security Plus. So that will definitely grab my attention of the coordinator. He can quickly check what's going wrong and then assign an engineer to mitigate the situation and take care of it. All right, so this is the second case that I wanted to talk about. So when a ransomware attack happens, or when there is a file modification, when there is a copy of data from your sensitive servers, when someone is trying to copy sensitive information into a USB stick, all these are file activities and these can be audited and monitored. And when there is even one file modification, it can be triggered as an event into ServiceDesk Plus. So your sensitive data stays secure with this combination. All right. So we have antiviruses, we have got endpoint protections. However, simple file copies can sometimes be a security violation. All right. Even that should be logged and that has to be identified. And that event has to be logged into ServiceDesk Plus when that happens in a sensitive application server. Right? Probably it hosts the financial data of your organization, and that has to be logged into ServiceDesk Plus. Now we can achieve that with ServiceDesk Plus and Data Security Plus combination. So that is the security combination that I want to talk about. I would like to call it as security operations. All right. So incidents that are triggered due to security violations can now be tracked, logged into ServiceDesk Plus, and you can react and mitigate very fast, reducing the mean time to detect and resolve. All right. So the third situation that I want to talk about is development and operations. So this is a buzzword that's been there everywhere, DevOps. All right. So many organizations have in-house developers, and many in-house tools are developed by these developers. So you've got organization portals, customized web pages within your organization, as well as published outside, and there is continual development that's happening. Whenever there is a new product that you launch, your website has to be updated with it. Whenever you change the policy, it has to be updated in the website, and the users have to consume it, right? So whenever you introduce a new feature into the portal, that will be developed by your developers. So now that comes the need for identifying application issues. So we know the availability, we can now monitor the availability of the application. We can monitor the issues pertaining to the application in various levels, various components. But what if an application feature is not performing as it should? All right, so that is where the quality analysis comes into picture. We have to bring the QA close to the IT operations. So that is the goal of this particular integration. So there is a web page, a new feature has been added to the web page. Before adding it to the production, it has been exhaustively tested in the test environments. It's already done, but it's now deployed in the production. It's been used by our users for some time, but after a while, it performs a little weird. So it is not performing as it should. One of the features is breaking. Now, how would you identify this? Conventionally, users will try to use the product and then they will report it back to IT. They'll say the feature is not working, the form is not working, I'm not able to submit data with the form. All right, so they will report it to us, and then we'll try to analyze what exactly the problem is. We'll check whether it's an infrastructure problem or an application issue. And if it is an application issue, we are going to report it to our developers. All right, so here we have to think of three items. One, monitoring from an end user's perspective. All right. Two, the IT service desk itself, the ticketing system. Three, we have to report it to our developers. Developers are using a different platform altogether. So now I'm going to show you a DevOps tool chain that you can build with ServiceDesk Plus in the middle. So we're going to talk about real browser monitoring, which is a component of Applications Manager once again. So using real browser monitoring, we can now perform synthetic end user monitoring, meaning we can simulate how an end user would use an application on a periodic basis and check if everything is performing as it should. If it fails, an alert can be triggered into ServiceDesk Plus. And in ServiceDesk Plus, the technicians can follow their process. They can check whether it's an infrastructure problem, all right, probably with the database or with the network. And if it is not an infrastructure problem, probably they should pass it on to the developers for analysis, right? They should log it as a bug with the product and report it into Jira, the most widely used software, right? So in this situation, we are going to see how you can connect real browser monitoring with ServiceDesk Plus and how ServiceDesk Plus can report a bug into Jira in this tool chain. So real browser monitoring can emulate user testing with real browsers. We can make use of Microsoft Edge or Mozilla Firefox to emulate an end user and identify the problems with the features that we have deployed. So that way we can close the loop between deployment operations and development. All right, we can bring testing closer to the operations. So that can enable us to quickly fail when something goes wrong, identify it proactively, and before the end user notices it, we can deploy our developers to fix it and bring it back into production. So that is the idea behind this tool chain, which also allows us to reduce the mean time to identify and resolve. Okay, let us see it in action. So for this, I'm going to show you the third product, the third feature in Applications Manager, which is real browser monitoring. So under monitors, we'll have real browser monitoring. So I have already created a monitor for one of my web pages. So let me quickly show you the web page that's been created. Okay, it's a very simple form that's built by my developers. It's a HTML page, right? So imagine this page is deployed in the production, and I need to check if this page is performing as it should. So ideally, it collects 4 data and the user submits it. So 5 operations happens in this first page. So I need to provide information, my first name and last name, date of birth, address, from submit. All right, so this is what happens when I use this form. So it's a dummy page, just one page. Let us see how this can be recorded. My operations can be recorded and created as a monitor in Applications Manager. So for which there is a component of Applications Manager called the Web Recorder Transaction Recorder. All right, Web Transaction Recorder is a component of Applications Manager. So this particular thing makes the process very simple and straightforward. All right, so all I have to do is provide the URL localhost 1990, and I provide the credentials for my Applications Manager. Now I get the actual tool. So I can do 2 things with Web Transaction Recorder. I can create URL sequence monitors, meaning the sequence of URLs that are parsed in your web browser that can be logged into the URL sequence monitor. And also I can create real browser monitoring, meaning how an end user would use a product, use a web page. That is what we are interested with, because we would like to emulate the end user and see if there is a problem with the actual deployment. So for our case, once again, https:// localhost /1.html. So this is the page I'm interested with. I would like to create a monitor, a recording of the actions that I do and store it in Applications Manager. So it will use the recording to emulate a user and check it frequently, check it periodically. And over time, if there is a degradation with the application or if the application fails to work as it should, an alert can be triggered into ServiceDesk Plus. So as you can see here, the status now says recording, which means all the actions that I'm going to do will be stored as a script. So once again, I'm going to do the same drill. All right, submit. All right, so now this recording, I can preview, create a name, provide a name for this monitor. I'm going to say EC2. Full frequency, how frequently I would like to check this operation. So I would like to do it 1 hour, once in 1 hour. All right, payload timeout is 10 seconds, just in case if it is not able to, I can choose my browser, choice of browser. So if my organization strictly uses only Edge, I can go with Edge, all right, or with Mozilla Firefox. And then I can also provide a name for my sequences. So here in this case, there are 2 sequences. The first one is the landing page. Second one is the second URL that is that comes after submitting the form. All right, so I'm going to say EC3 and then next. All right, so we see 5 steps that are happening in the first page, meaning the 4 fields and the submit button, and the click operation happens, the time taken for all of it, everything is recorded. Now I can even perform a playback, a test playback. So now the entire operations that I did are stored as a script, and it is used with Mozilla Firefox browser to emulate an end user and see how it works. So it's connecting using an end user monitoring agent. So this comes as a 3-piece software. So you've got Applications Manager server, and you have got an end user monitoring agent and a web transaction recorder. So I record my web transactions and give it to the end user monitoring agent. So the end user monitoring agent will simulate an end user, synthesize the transactions, and then it will check for success. Now this can be sent to Applications Manager as a new monitor. All right, so I can create a new real browser monitor. So a monitor will get added successfully. So now let's go back to Applications Manager, monitors, and here under real browser monitoring, now I have got 2 monitors. All right, EZ2 is the new one that I have created. It's available as of now. So you've got 100% availability. And as you can see here, it shows all the statistics of this particular monitor. So I'm going to simulate a situation now. I'm going to cause an outage, right? So let me get into the page where the application runs. All right, program files to be there. Program files, ManageEngine, ServiceDesk, apps, root. All right, so 1.html is the page. So assume that I'm a rookie developer. So I'm going to make some changes to this HTML page. So I'm going to, do something and then modify the file. So instead of doing that, I'll just delete this. All right, so my code check-in has corrupted the entire file. So this is going to reflect in the HTML page, and it should ideally reflect in my Applications Manager. So let's see how it works. All right, so the idea is once it goes down, so alerts has to be triggered into ServiceDesk Plus. All right, so we can configure it to create an alarm in ServiceDesk Plus when something goes wrong. So I can create an action. All right, so configure an alarm. So once again, the drill is the same. I have to configure a health level alarm. So when EC portal is down, I can trigger a notification into ServiceDesk Plus. So the first part of the tool chain is, so we have recorded the web transaction. We have given it to the end user monitoring agent to emulate an end user. And when an end user, so that way we create a real browser monitoring system. Now it can trigger alerts into Applications Manager. Applications Manager in turn will report it to ServiceDesk Plus, right? So now let's go into ServiceDesk Plus and I'll show you the second half of it, right? So this is one such alarm which got triggered from Applications Manager. Now from here, I can create a Jira ticket directly. So if you've got Jira software, if there is an integration that exists, so I can make use of this to create a Jira ticket directly from the ServiceDesk Plus product. So as I click this custom menu option, I can invoke an API call and report this as a bug into Jira. So that way we close the loop. We bring the end users the IT operations, and the developers in one tool chain. So this is the case that I wanted to talk about with these three solutions. So real browser monitoring with the applications manager, ServiceDesk Plus in the middle ground, which collects information from real browser monitoring, processes it, and passes it on to Jira for further processing. So now you can deploy your engineers to work on the portal and fix it whenever you identify an issue with it. All right. And the final part that I want to talk about is data driven operations. So we have seen a lot of products today. So we saw about applications manager, we saw about the different monitors that you can create for one application. So one application is broken down into components, and each and every component can be monitored individually. So that is a lot of touch points. There is a lot of data which is going to be generated from applications manager regarding EC portal. So Jira, on the other hand, will have all the development related activities, the development tasks that are done with the portal. So that has generated a lot of data. And in ServiceDesk Plus, you'll have a lot of incidents, problems reported against EC portal, the operational records, right? All these are related to one service called Easy Portal, which is an organization portal, right? Every product generates a lot of information about one service, and in order to convert this data into insight, in order to assimilate this data and understand what exactly is happening at this point, we need one processor. All right, so that is where ManageEngine Analytics Plus can come into picture. Analytics Plus is a business analytics tool provided by ManageEngine, which provides out-of-the-box integration with many ManageEngine tools as well as third-party software. All right, so this enables us to collect information from various touch points related to one service, and you can create a dashboard for the service. So that's the beauty of it. So you can get information from Applications Manager, you can get information from Jira, you can get information from Service Desk, and create one dashboard with all the data that you have. All right, let's see it in action. So if you'd like to explore it, you can always go to Analytics Plus demo, online demo, and it will show you the different integration option that it offers out of the box. So the popular ones, you can integrate it with ServiceDesk Plus, Jira, Op Manager, Applications Manager, and a lot of different tools. All right, so each and every tool can be integrated with Analytics Plus one software, and it can gather information from the software. All right, now this is a typical analytics dashboard. So it consumes data from various products, and you can use the data to build dashboards like this. All right, so by default, it comes out of the box with different dashboards. You can check the backlogs related to specific development activity. So if it is due to, if it is related to EC portal, which is your application, organization application, you can check all the different backlogs. All right, you can check the estimation, the projects, all right, the sprints overview, what is the current status of development related to this project. Everything can be viewed when the integration between Jira and Analytics Plus is done. Similarly, you can also get information from ServiceDesk Plus. All right, and the best part about using Analytics Plus is it's integrated with Zia, which is an artificial intelligence agent. So many of us are not so comfortable writing queries. We don't have the expertise or knowledge to write our own SQL statements to get the report, or we don't have the time to build the logic for the report. So you don't have to do anything now. You can ask Zia. All right, so you can talk to Zia and get information. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Show me tickets with categories. All right, so a simple voice command can fetch me reports by categories. Show me technician who has maximum number of tickets. All right, it fetches the technician and shows me who has maximum number of tickets. All right, so simple voice commands in plain simple English can be understood by Zia, and it can fetch the report from ServiceDesk Plus. So Analytics Plus integrates with ServiceDesk, it fetches the data here, and I can use plain simple English to get insights. Similarly, I can use this for getting insights from Jira, getting insights from Analytics, Applications Manager, etc. Excuse me. So that is the idea behind having a one product that can connect all the other products. We have created a tool chain. Now we have to get that information into one product and create a single pane of glass to understand what's happening. We have a support portal. You can visit the support portal for more resources and information. If you've got any questions, please write to us at hello@servicedeskplus.com. So we'll get that answered for you. All right. So we also conduct a free product training and consultation as a part of our customer success program. So you get a personalized 45-minute one-on-one training session exclusively for you. So you can book your slots now by writing an email to itsmcares@manageengine.com. So itsmcares@manageengine.com will give you a one-on-one training. So with regards to MS Teams, you can write an email to us at itsmcares@manageengine. We'll deploy one of our consultants to give you a one-on-one consultation and training on any specific feature. All right, with that, I would like to conclude this demonstration. Thank you so much for joining in. Cheers.